Fort Drum soldiers are set to get a warrior dividend. That's a check from Washington announced by President Trump. It's worth $1,776. Notably, 1776 is the year the nation was founded, and next year is the 250th birthday of the U.S. 7 News reporter Mark Mason Jr. takes a look at how much this could add up for the North Country economy.
Announced last week.
In honor of our nation's founding in 1776, we are sending every soldier $1,776.
President Trump calls them warrior dividends, going out to U.S. military members all across the country, including thousands in the 10th Mountain Division at Fort Drum.
Our soldiers, especially those of the 10th Mountain Division who live, work, and play every day here in our local community, absolutely have earned this dividend through their unwavering service and sacrifice to our nation.
Fort Drum has around 13,000 active military, receiving the check just in time for the holidays.
It was a great surprise, especially for our soldiers who already sometimes struggle with the current economy. It, especially during the holidays, will allow for them, again, to better enjoy the holidays with friends and family.
While soldiers are enjoying the holidays, local economic officials say $1,776 in the hands of 13,000 Fort Drum soldiers could bring upwards of $23 million into our local economy should they spend it here.
Short term, there will be some very positive benefits to our local economy, especially from the county level on sales tax revenue. But then in the businesses themselves will benefit from this injection of cash.
According to Fort Drum's latest economic statement, the military installation pumps $2.5 billion into the North Country economy annually. Now, as for the origin of this money, President Trump touted tariffs as the reason for the checks, but the Associated Press reports the money actually was congressionally approved as a housing supplement, not tariffs. The supplement was part of the Big Beautiful Bill, which was passed in July, and military members were set to receive it anyway. Regardless of where the money came from, local economic officials are eager to see where it goes. Mark Mason Jr., 7 News.